Hey, what's up, guys? Wanted to share a quick video with you. I was listening to a podcast today from one of my mentors and wanted to share some insights that he had because they are true and real insights, and I've experienced them in my own life. I know whenever I read someone that's successful or is good in business, they always talk about having mentors and the importance of having mentors, and I always like to know who their mentors are. And so I have several mentors that I learn from and that teach me. The mentor, and I'm going to share with you one of my mentors. His name is Andy Frisella. He owns several companies. One of them is a nutrition company called First Form, and he has a podcast called the MFCEO Project. Highly recommend that podcast, that you listen to it. It's extremely valuable. He is someone that is very real, very raw, and tells it how it is and tells you the truth. And his podcast has helped me greatly in my life and in my business. So I'd recommend that you go listen to that. And I'm going to share a lesson that he was teaching today in one of his podcasts about 2 realizations you must have in order to have success in business. And I've experienced these for myself, so I know they're real and that it's true principles that he's teaching. And so, yeah, grateful for him. Even though I've never met Andy, he is one of my mentors because I learned from him, and you can learn from him too. So go check out his podcast, MFCEO Project. But anyway, the 2 things he was talking about today, the first concept he was mentioning was having patience. And he talked about how in our society we're used to having things almost instantaneously, which is great in a lot of aspects, but it also teaches us that it doesn't teach us to have patience for a lot of things. And if you're starting a business or anything, you have to have a lot of patience. And the same is true in the overage business. I'll share with you an example. For me, when I quit my job as a corrections officer, probation officer, I did not get paid for over 4 months. It was almost 5 months actually until I actually got a paycheck. And so you really do have to have patience when you're starting something new. I think most people, if they had quit their job, and had they not received a paycheck in 2 or 3 months, they would have quit and probably gone back to the job. Whereas I was able to stick it out and, see it through and have patience. And I'm not saying that I'm special or anything, because I'm not, but this principle of patience is so important and so real, and it's important to grasp this concept that if you're starting something new, whatever it is, you need to have patience. Concept number 2 that he was mentioning is learning how to finish, learning how to see things through to the end. And this is so important too. For me, I've noticed that this was the whole reason I was able to start an overage business, is because, one, I bought a course and I finished it. I went through the whole thing and I applied every single concept that I learned until I actually did a deal. I didn't quit, I didn't stop until I had actually done a deal. And the other courses that I bought where I didn't, see success, it's because I didn't finish it. It's because I went through the material, but I didn't apply everything I learned, therefore I didn't finish, therefore I didn't see a result. And so this concept, learning how to finish, learning how to see things through to the end, is so important as well, because what's hard, and I've talked about this too, the weaknesses that I've struggled with is the shiny object syndrome, looking for the next best thing. When I was getting into real estate, I'd buy a course and I'd do part of it, and then I'd see a new one, and then I'd buy that and do part of it. And if you continue to do that, if you keep jumping to the next thing, you'll never see success in anything, because you're not finishing it. You're not seeing it through to completion. And so it's impossible to see a result from that. And that's happened to me so many times, and I still struggle with that. But it's so important that you see things through to fruition. And even if you don't see success, if you don't get the result you desire, that's okay, because in the process you learn lessons along the way of how to do things, how to not do things, and those are super valuable, super good insights. And so I just wanted to share this with you guys because these two principles are so important. Like I said, I've given you two, real life examples of how they've applied to me in my situation. And so, remember these things. Remember to have patience when you're learning anything new. And number two, remember to finish it to the end. And go check out my mentor, Andy Frisella, and his podcast, MFCEO Project. And it's on iTunes, Spotify, everything. So check him out. He has some great stuff, and it'll help you in any endeavor in life. And thanks guys. We'll see you in the next one.